Hey and welcome to the Daily Man United News show. Let's begin with our daily news. Man United to discuss Alejandro Garnacho's new contract with agents. Manchester United are keen to tie up Alejandro Garnacho's future and hope to commit him to a new contract in the next few days. The Red Devils secured the protege from Atletico Madrid before Brexit restricted the age at which European youngsters could sign for British clubs. His rise to the first team squad in the 2 years since has been meteoric, with it being only a matter of time before he starts his first senior game. United have just until June to sign up the Argentinian or risk losing him to any of a host of clubs who are interested in his services. According to us, via Sport Witness, Manchester United are planning to meet with Alejandro Garnacho's agents in the next few days to discuss a new contract at the club. They also say that an unnamed Spanish club has shown interest in him. Alarm bells could be ringing for United fans who remember Gerard Piqué's time at Old Trafford. Having acquired him from Barcelona, United brought him to the fringes of the first team before seeing him return to Catalonia and walk straight into the Barcelona and Spain teams. And while Garnacho has represented Argentina at under 20 level, he represented Spain at under 18 level and has dual nationality. His history in the academy at Atletico Madrid could also predispose him to a move back to Spain and have La Liga's giants lining up for him. It's an interesting situation, and United are right to try to tie the exciting young talent up quickly. For his part, Garnacho might want to delay any decision until he sees how much first-team football he's given at Old Trafford and how much progress the club makes in its quest to become a world force once more. Antony says Manchester United must look to impose themselves in games to be successful. Manchester United winger Antony says that his side must look to impose themselves in games and make their imprint felt ahead of a crucial Everton tie today. Antony spoke to Premier League Productions via the Daily Mail, where he reflected on his stint so far at United and what fans should expect of him going forward. The 22-year-old highlighted the importance of bouncing back from the Manchester derby battering by winning against the Toffees. He insisted that the only way to win comfortably against Frank Lampard's men, who have conceded the least goals of any team in the Premier League, is to impose themselves into the game and capitalize on their strength. He said, "We know it's going to be a difficult, tough game. My teammates have already spoken to me about this fixture. They said it will be difficult. We have to impose our game, show our strength. We shouldn't get worked up and let our heads go down because of one game, one result. Sadly, we lost the last league game. But when you think about it, we have beaten Liverpool and the league leaders Arsenal." Antony added, "Our season can't be summarized by just one game. We are now focused on the match against Everton and, God willing, we will get the 3 points." On his fantastic goal against City, the Brazilian revealed that he had thoroughly prepared and practiced for that shot, hitting up to 15 balls the day before. Looking back on his fairy tale start to life with the Red Devils when he scored against Arsenal, the player said that he studied the North London club and instinctively knew where to be and how to find space. Antony made a vow to United supporters that he would continue to give 100% both in matches and on the training ground. Wayne Rooney gives a brutal verdict on Cristiano Ronaldo's Manchester United situation. Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney says that his former teammate Cristiano Ronaldo is not the player he was a few years back. In a brutal assessment of Ronaldo's situation, Rooney did not hold back, telling it as it is without holding any punches. United's record goal scorer told reporters via the Daily Mail, "The manager's obviously gone a different way in terms of how they are playing and be successful. Him and Lionel Messi are two of the greatest players to ever play the game, but ultimately time catches up with us all. He is obviously not the player he was when he was 22 or 23, for instance. It's a tough one for him." Rooney urged Ronaldo, who he enjoyed so much success with when the pair formed the tip of United's attack from 2004 and 2009, to remain patient. He admitted that knowing the 37-year-old, he would probably not accept his situation, but he was sure an opportunity would come his way, while Rooney insists that there may yet still be a chance for Ronaldo to return to the team and become Erik ten Hag's primary striker. Such a situation seems far from reality. With the return of revitalized Antony Martial from injury, the five-time Ballon d'Or winner's chances are only likely to become more limited, even when given a chance, as he was in the Europa League against Omonia. Ronaldo has failed to stake a substantial claim to a guaranteed starting spot, with the likes of Marcus Rashford and Martial outdoing him. This, coupled with reports of disagreements between the player and manager, as well as indications that a January exit is on the cards, do not reflect positively on Ronaldo's chances. It may be best that he departs and lets the team flourish in his absence. Robbie Savage questions Manchester United signing Casemiro for £65 million from Real Madrid. Manchester United have been questioned by ex-Premier League ace Robbie Savage for signing Casemiro in the recent transfer window. The former Leicester City and Derby County star does not understand why the Red Devils spent £65 million to buy the Brazilian from Real Madrid. Casemiro established himself as one of the best defensive midfielders in Spain before making his way to Manchester. The 30-year-old won multiple La Liga and Champions League trophies with Los Blancos. However, Casemiro has had to bide his time at United. The Brazilian has not started for the Red Devils in the Premier League yet, and in his column in the Mirror, Savage feels the 30-year-old should get more minutes. I am not sure Ten Hag has found the right combination to anchor United's midfield. Why have they spent £65 million on 30-year-old Casemiro if he's not going to start big games like the Derby, said Robbie. Erik Ten Hag has preferred Scott McTominay in the number 6 position in recent weeks. The Scotland international seemed to have kept his place in the starting lineup due to his impressive performances. However, McTominay was found out against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium in our last Premier League fixture. Christian Eriksen, who has started every game under the Dutch manager, also had a hard time keeping a hold of the ball. The Denmark international was struggling to get back to support the Red Devils defensively. In hindsight, fans feel starting Casemiro would have been better. However, there is also an argument for United finding success with a stable starting 11. The Old Trafford side went on a 4-game winning run with a relatively unchanged team before coming up short against City. Casemiro is a quality player, no doubt. However, Ten Hag needs to be trusted to bring the best out of United, and it remains to be seen whether the Brazilian starts against Everton at Goodison Park tonight. Journalist lambasts Jadon Sancho's laziness against Omonia that may cost him in the long term. Manchester United winger Jadon Sancho was substituted off at half-time in United's 3-2 comeback against Omonia in the Europa League. The forward was named in the starting 11 by Erik Ten Hag, but his poor showing in the opening 45 minutes saw him get replaced by Marcus Rashford during the break. Rashford's introduction into proceedings saw him score a brace to help the Red Devils clinch all 3 points. While there were many aspects of Sancho's game in Cyprus that left a lot to be desired, the most obvious one came in the 34th minute. United were in attack when Sancho, who was on the ball, elected to pass it back to Tyrell Malacia. Malacia, under pressure, was quickly hurried off the ball. Omonia went ahead to score from the ensuing counter-attack to shed first blood. Sancho had options, and his decision to pass to Malacia when he could have either wiped the ball into the box or passed it to the underlapping Bruno Fernandes puzzled many. However, beyond the pass to Malacia, it was the lack of urgency in his tracking back to make amends that stood out, as reported by the Telegraph's James Ducker. Ducker says, "What was less forgivable was Sancho's response to seeing Malacia miscontrol the ball and lose possession as Omonia broke away on the transition. Christian Eriksen, sensing trouble, was already on his bike. Sancho, well, he simply dropped his head and began trotting back as 4 players who had started behind him, Eriksen, Lisandro Martinez, Diogo Dalot and Casemiro, surged past him as they sprinted back in the hope of rectifying the mess. Sancho's laziness that was on show against Omonia in that instance follows up on Paul Scholes' criticism of the Englishman and Antony for their failure to execute their defensive responsibilities against Manchester City. Tucker adds, "Too often, he, Sancho, is peripheral to the action, and the statistics support it, with Sancho well down for shots, touches, dribbles, chances created and assists in his previous 4 seasons." Sancho has a fight on his hands with regard to getting back into the team, especially after Anthony Martial's return. Only the left flank position is left for him to battle it out with Rashford. Real Madrid set to begin Jude Bellingham transfer campaign. Real Madrid are set to be kick-starting a campaign to persuade Jude Bellingham to join the club next summer. Manchester United had previously been close to signing the youngster back in 2020 before he decided to join Borussia Dortmund. The Bellingham family met with Sir Alex Ferguson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick and Brian Robson at United's Carrington training facility. Robson, who is part of an advisory think tank for Chief Executive Richard Arnold, recently stated that United thought we had him and he would have been a great signing for us. According to The Athletic, United retained a strong interest in long-term target Bellingham. Laurie Whitewell stated the club had watched the Birmingham Academy graduate 46 times since he was 12. Bellingham, who is widely viewed as one of the best under-21 midfielders in the world, is expected to have a lot of suitors this summer after his third Bundesliga season. Liverpool, Manchester City and Chelsea are all set to be ready to go all out for the 19-year-old at the end of the season. Dortmund, however, will hold out for a price of 150 million euros and are trying to offer him a new bumper contract, according to The Athletic. Madrid, meanwhile, are beginning to launch a charm offensive, according to Marca, who have claimed that work on the proposal has already started, albeit the proposal remains in its infancy. The Chiefs at the Bernabeu feel that a move for Bellingham next summer represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Los Blancos are also said to be fronting their efforts by donning Bellingham with the epithet Young Galacticos, according to Mike McGrath and Jason Bird's sources. The Champions League holders have already dramatically reshaped their midfield by signing world-class French youngsters Eduardo Camavinga and Aurelien Chouamini, two players with whom United have been strongly linked in the past. Although Jan Murtough and Richard Arnold delivered excellent midfielders Christian Eriksen and Casemiro to Old Trafford last summer, Erik ten Hag is keen to add youthful energy and potential as he seeks to create a dynamic title-challenging midfield. Whether he will get a chance to sign Bellingham remains to be seen. Benfica youngster Antonio Silva, monitored by Manchester United scouts during Champions League fixture. Manchester United scouts were present during the Benfica vs Paris Saint-Germain fixture to watch Antonio Silva, according to the Mirror. The young Portuguese centre-back started for the Eagles against Les Parisiens at the Estadio da Luz. The Red Devils have taken an interest towards Silva due to his performances this season. United are looking to bring in a young defender who can be molded into a quality player, and the 18-year-old defender has all the traits. Silva's current contract at Benfica runs until 2027. However, the Portuguese youngster has a release clause of £13 million. The Lisbon-based club wants to increase that. Benfica took on PSG in the third game of Group H in the Champions League. The match ended 1-1 with goals from Lionel Messi and an own goal by Danilo Pereira. Silva played the full 90 minutes against a front line that consisted of the Argentine great Kylian Mbappe and Neymar. The 18-year-old defender, along with former Manchester City star Nicolas Otamendi, kept the League One outfit's front three relatively quiet. Benfica, for now, are unbeaten in all competitions in the 22-23 campaign. Currently, United have a host of options in the backline. Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez have formed a solid partnership at the back this season. Erik ten Hag can also call upon Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. However, United do not seem to have a young defender they can count on. Most of our centre-backs are in their late 20s, thus it makes sense for the Red Devils to keep an eye on the up-and-coming talent around Europe. I will be uploading daily Man United news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.